red, clear. You can turn your hotel room into a club. My name is Michael Easter. I am the author of The Comfort Crisis and the forthcoming book, The Scarcity Brain, and my job is to go into dangerous places and report stories, get information, and turn them into narratives that hopefully can improve your life. So today I will be talking about what do I bring when I go into dangerous places? What are the items that help me do my job, help me stay alive, help me return home back to Las Vegas and produce books that you hopefully enjoy reading. So I spent a month in Alaska for my last book. The dangers in the Arctic, where I was, are going to be fundamentally different than the dangers in Baghdad. In one place, they are environmental in the form of storms and grizzly bears. In the other, it's all cultural stuff. It's people, it's political tensions, it is the nature of a conflict zone. Each different place is going to require its own set of gear, and dialing in the gear for each place is necessary. So the bag is a GR2 Slick from GoRuck. I've been using GoRuck products since about day one of the company. What I love about GoRuck is that everything is laid out very intelligently. You won't be let down by this bag. A lot of people have used it. I've recommended it to a lot of people who travel. They all love it. They all use it. They all thank me afterwards. It's just laid out very smartly. All right, let's get into the bag. So first and foremost, if you're going to someplace dangerous, I suggest you carry a burner phone, a small burner phone. Burner phone is your extra phone that is a separate number, ideally on a separate network that you use for emergencies only, to share your location, to make phone calls when you need them, because let's say something were to happen and you lost your normal phone, or someone has you and they take your normal phone. You want a backup phone just for emergencies. A multi-tool. So you want a tool that has a lot of different uses. You want to be able to cut things, you want to be able to snip things, you want to be able to fix things, you want to be able to do all kinds of things. And the answer for that is something that has a lot of tools, like a multi-tool. All right, moving on, deeper into the bag. Ah yes, good old Marlboro cigarettes and a lighter. So the reason that I travel with Marlboro cigarettes, when I was in Baghdad, my fixer, he takes me out to the outskirts of the city and we go to this police compound. We walk up there and we sit in this waiting room, and all of a sudden, word gets out. There's this gangly, dorky American in the waiting room, and all these Iraqi cops, they just emerge from the office like coyotes, and they've all got their guns in their waistband, and they're all smoking, and they're just kind of side-eyeing me. They're like, I don't know about this dude. What's up with this dude? Pulled out these cigarettes. I made some friends real fast. That changed the entire dynamic of the room, where I'm kind of like this suspect dude. We don't know what we're gonna do with him, to all of a sudden, this guy's a good guy. Let's talk to him. That's what you want. Probably the most essential thing for me and the work that I do is a good notebook and a good pen. So I always go with Write in the Rain. I go with the orange cover because that's something that I can see, and if I set it down, I won't forget it because my vision's just gonna pick it up. I always go with this size because it fits in a back pocket. I don't want a huge binder that I'm dragging around. I can just shove this in a pocket. And the other upside of this notebook in particular is that if it gets wet, you can still write on it. The ink won't fade. It's just good. I mean, I've used these my entire career. They should really have me as some big ambassador for the brand, but I'm quiet about it. Second is you want a good pen to be able to write on that. I like the size, it fits easily in a pocket. This one you can strap to something. You just want to be able to count on your writing device. What do we have next? We have a Garmin InReach Mini. This is a very important device. This is the shit has hit the fan. I need to press this SOS button on the side. This basically tells the world that you are in distress. Now, you should also know, as a consumer of this, just because you hit this button, it does not mean that all of a sudden a helicopter is going to arrive in 10 minutes. It takes a lot of coordination. But honestly, I will pay $450 to not be lost in the wilderness and freeze to death, or to know where I am in a country that is hostile. You want a wad of American money. This seems rather obvious in case you need to pay someone off to get out of a bad situation. Carry hundreds, carry 20s, don't blow your whole wad, right? Don't give the first person that asks for money the whole thing. Disperse as much as you need to get out of a situation. Also, think about carrying this just somewhere where I can access it, but it's not going to be very easy to find if someone were to try and shake me down real quickly. I always will carry a rain jacket because being wet and cold in a terrible place is terrible. So I usually carry one that is gonna be light. It's gonna pack up into about the size of a can of soda. I don't think you need to super overthink this. Rule number one for surviving in the wild is don't get too wet. This is how you don't get too wet. I wanna keep items that could die if they get too wet in a dry bag. This is a sea line bag that I've had for probably 5 years. Somehow it's still alive. You can see how it's just nice and beat to hell because I've used it quite a bit. But yeah, if it's raining and the stuff you need to survive gets wet, you might find yourself in a little bit of a pickle. Just a basic backup battery charger. The reason that I use this one, this is from Anchor. This is on Amazon. I can't remember how much it was. It was maybe like 70 bucks. Totally worth it. The reason that I like this one is you can get multiple charges on an iPhone, but it can also charge up a computer. Also, this is important, obviously, for charging the burner phone, making sure that that is always topped off. The satellite communicator, the GPS device, you always want that topped off. So having a little more juice than less, I think is totally worth the wait. Next up, as I always take a flashlight into anywhere I go, to be honest. Power outages happen, and if you find yourself in a hotel where, I mean, this could be like a disaster scenario. Maybe you're someplace and there's an earthquake, the power goes out, you need to find your way out of a hotel or something. It's just good to have a flashlight. I also recommend one that is very bright, at least 1,000 lumens, and the reason for that is it is actually a good defense tool. So if someone comes into your room at night and they have intention of doing you harm, or it's even out on a street at night, if you smash them in the eyes with 1,000 lumens, it is blinding. But 1,000 is a nice, like, I'm literally blinded by the light power that can be good. Last but not least, something that everyone today travels with is a laptop. I use a MacBook Air because it always works, it always turns on, and it's light. And honestly, I'm a writer. I basically need the internet and some sort of word processing document. I do not need any crazy power. This fits the bill for me. I find that laptops tend to work for me for at least 5 to 6 years if they're from Apple. Eventually, I just murder the keyboard with all the writing and it just all goes to hell from there, but 5 years is a good run. I'm Michael Easter. Thank you for watching my gear dump about what I carry with me when I travel into dangerous places, conflict zones, to report my books. I wrote a book called The Comfort Crisis. I got a new one called The Scarcity Brain coming out. You can find me at Michael_Easter. I also write a weekly newsletter called the 2% Newsletter that talks about how to live well in a new way every single week. If you have any questions about this stuff or comments, you think you have better options, I would love to hear about them. I am always up for upgrading my gear. But one thing that I will not debate with you, ever, is the Marb cigarettes. This is the best damn cigarette in the world. Ask anyone. Thanks for watching.